The PlayStation 4 has a plethora of incredibly compelling upcoming RPGs, and that's what I want to highlight in today's video. I'm not going to be looking at every epic RPG that's coming out in the near future. Rather, I've decided to limit this video to highlighting 6 of the RPGs that I think you guys should definitely know about. We have games on this list that you guys probably already know about, but there's also a couple of hidden underrated gems that I want to cover as well. I'm sure in the future we'll upload videos taking a look at more RPGs, but let's get started with this one. And by the way, we are not looking at any Japanese RPGs in this video. We're keeping it strictly focused on more Western RPGs. So with that being said, let's get right into it. And kicking things off, one of the RPGs that I think so many gamers wanted heading into this generation will finally be dropping in 2019, and that is Borderlands 3. Borderlands was one of the iconic franchises of last generation. The original game releasing back in 2009, we got a follow-up in 2012, and since then we haven't gotten a numbered Borderlands game. We did get Borderlands the pre-sequel in 2014, but that was really more of an extension on Borderlands 2. It was actually in between Borderlands 1 and 2, and you really can't classify that as a brand new game, but Borderlands 3 is a brand new game, and it has looked incredible from all the footage that we have seen thus far. And once again, you can either play alone or in parties of up to 4 people, and I know that Borderlands is always considered to be one of those games you really need to play cooperatively, but I never saw it as that kind of game. I found it very compelling, whether you're playing it cooperatively or if you want to go through it solo. And of course, the game is highlighted in the fact that you can make a character from one of 4 classes, so there's an incredible amount of replayability in the game as well, and you'll take on a variety of different missions throughout the game in this vast open world. Great visuals here. Expect a varied amount of gameplay that once again will lend itself to a lot of replayability. The premise of the game is still strictly the same. Borderlands 3 shares the same core loop with previous games around taking on missions, defeating enemies, and obtaining loot from fallen foes or special chests, more often in the form of procedurally generated weapons to vary in damage, range, ammo capacity, and other special perks, giving the game over 1 billion guns. Now, that premise might sound a little bit jarring to you at first, but bear in mind that all of those guns are going to range towards different playstyles, different level capacities, all that kind of good stuff. Expect a phenomenal game out of Borderlands 3, and I'm just excited that we're finally going to be able to play it once it drops September 13th. Next up, we have a major expansion to one of the best RPGs of this generation. Monster Hunter World is getting its first paid expansion in Iceborne. Now, some of you guys might be a little bit disappointed. Hey, I thought all of the Monster Hunter World content was gonna be free. Well, Capcom has done more than enough. I know in this era, it's always easy to complain about DLCs, paid content, whatever the case may be, but Capcom released an incredibly compelling product with Monster Hunter World early last year, and then they followed up with a ton of free downloadable content. If a year and a half later, over a year and a half at that fact, they want to do a $40 expansion pack, by all means, they have earned the right to do a $40 expansion pack. They've done more than enough, and they've offered me more than enough gameplay for my initial $60 that I'm happy to drop another $40 for more Monster Hunter World content with Iceborne. The Iceborne expansion builds upon every aspect of Monster Hunter World, starting with an all-new story that picks up after the main game and whiz hunters away to a brand new chilly location. Of course, as the name of the expansion would suggest, you're gonna be going to a couple of snowy regions, and it's gonna offer a new premise to the gameplay. The snow-covered terrain offers an ecosystem that contrasts areas in the main game and progressively expands within the story. Iceborne is set to offer the largest region in the game so far, presenting hunters a wealth of new content with even more quests to face than the original release. Yes, they are touting that this game is going to be comparable to the original game's release, so you are getting a sizable amount of content here. Given that the base game had an enormous amount of content, given that this is being released at $40, not even a full $60, and maybe it wouldn't be fair to say that you're doubling up on content, but I would say you're probably going to be getting a solid 60 to 80% of additional content. That is pretty remarkable, and that's why I'm so excited for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Again, you'll see it often where gamers will complain about DLC and expansion packs, but in the case of Monster Hunter World Iceborne, I don't see any complaints. I don't see anybody a little bit unwilling to drop $40 because Capcom has done a remarkable job with this game, a job that I've seen very, very few games even manage to do this generation. I put MH World right on the level with games like The Witcher 3 in terms of being an incredible RPG. Obviously, this is of a different style, but you guys get the idea. The only area where Monster Hunter World falters a little bit is its storytelling. I wish the story was a little bit better. If it was, then it would be a near perfect game. However, everything that it offers is still so incredibly engaging, and I fully expect that Iceborne is going to offer a lot more of that. Alright, enough gushing about that. Next up, we have the Surge 2. Yes, Deck 13 is coming back with another Souls-like experience. I know a lot of you guys are still busy with Sekiro, Maybe you're already looking past everything else and you're looking towards Elden Ring, but The Surge 2 does look to be a very good game. In a bid to survive, explore the sprawling, devastated Jericho City. Fight ferocious threats in brutal, unforgiving combat, slashing and tearing the limbs off your opponents to steal their equipment. It is yet another Souls-like game, and Deck 13 did work on Lords of the Fallen and the first Surge, and those were pretty good games. They seem to be building upon one another, and The Surge 2 is the culmination of their work. And on the way to Jericho City, your plane is shot down by a mysterious storm and crash lands in the outskirts. You wake up weeks later in a derelict detention facility inside the city. Armor-clad soldiers enforce martial law, robots are on a rampage, and a dark, expanding nanostorm looms over the cityscape. You're gonna have to survive throughout the game. You'll explore the sprawling, devastated city of Jericho, fight its numerous ferocious threats in brutal, unforgiving combat, slashing and tearing the limbs off your opponents to steal valuable equipment that will make you stronger, strong enough to face the most fearsome, imposing foes lurking the city. And throughout the game, you'll upgrade your character, become stronger and stronger, and it makes the game continually rewarding. It touts hardcore, brutal melee combat, face deadly foes and colossal bosses, cut off parts of the enemy you want to loot, and rich character progression and customization. The Surge 2's release isn't all too far off. It will be dropping September 24th. Next one, here's a game that not too many people are talking about, and it's a brand new game coming from the developers Spiders and published by Focus Home Interactive. Focus Home have been putting out a lot of great games, and that is GreedFall. GreedFall has you engage in a core role-playing experience and forge the destiny of a new world seeping with magic and filled with riches, lost secrets, and fantastic creatures. With diplomacy, deception, and force, become part of a living, evolving world, influence its course, and shape your own story. Achieve quests and complete objectives in a multitude of different ways through combat, diplomacy, deception, or stealth. Complete freedom in character progression, play as male or female, customize your appearance, and freely choose your abilities, spells, and skills, and delve into a mysterious world of magic. Begin a grand journey and uncover ancient secrets protected by supernatural beings, manifestations of the island's earthly magic. I know Spiders isn't a studio that is super well renowned. I mean, even if you look at their past games, not like their past games have been incredibly compelling. However, GreedFall does look to be a step above. And again, Focus Home have been publishing a lot of great games, and they've been one of the more notable publishers in all of gaming. I'm not saying that GreedFall is going to be an absolute home run, but I am definitely interested by it, and I'm excited to see what this game is going to bring come September 2019. Next up, a PC RPG making the transition to PlayStation 4 later this year is Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. Now, we already had the release of Pillars of Eternity 1 on PlayStation 4, and that made a very smooth transition, and that's why I'm so excited for Pillars of Eternity 2. Pursue a rogue god over land and sea in the sequel to the multi-award-winning RPG Pillars of Eternity. Captain your ship on a dangerous voyage of discovery across the vast, unexplored archipelago region of the Deadfire. Bend the world to your will as you explore the depths of infinite possibilities, including detailed character customization, total freedom of exploration, and more meaningful choices at every turn. It's a deep single-player RPG game experience enriched with cutting-edge technology and features. Deadfire builds on the foundation of classic D&D gameplay with vastly improved visuals, deeper game mechanics, and a whole new handcrafted adventure where choices truly matter. You'll build your party throughout the game, and the game has been received very well on PC, an 88 on Metacritic, and a very positive reception on Steam. Has me very excited for Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire coming to PlayStation 4, given that the first game was so good. And if you've yet to check that one out, make sure you remedy that. You can usually find the complete edition rather cheap. Play through that and then get excited for the follow-up, which should be out later in 2019. And lastly, here's a very compelling game coming from publishers THQ Nordic and a brand new studio in Experiment 101, and that is Biomutant. Now, Experiment 101, while a new studio, they have a lot of developers that worked on games such as Just Cause, so that open world game design, they definitely know what they're getting into with this one. However, in the case of Biomutant, it's a very interesting game, being that it's an open world post-apocalyptic kung fu fable RPG with a unique martial arts style combat system allowing you to mix melee, shooting, and mutant ability action. It's a brand new IP, and it's such an interesting IP. The story surrounds a plague ruining the land, and the Tree of Life is bleeding death from its roots. The tribes stand divided, explore a world in turmoil, and define its fate. Will you be its savior or lead it to an even darker destiny? The choices you make throughout the game are going to have a direct impact in what you see in the game, and the combat is one of the integral factors of the game. It's a new take on third-person combat. The martial arts style combat system allows you maximum freedom of movement and agility while mixing shooting, melee, and powers from your mutations. Learning new wushu combat forms through progression, and learning from masters you'll meet, you'll constantly add to your choices and make sure combat never gets old. Of course, visually, it's a stunning game, and there's a lot of choices that you're gonna make throughout the game, whether it be character customization, how you evolve as a character, and whatever the case may be, there's gonna be a lot of choices throughout the game, and that has me incredibly invested to Biomutant as an experience. It's due out later in 2019, 2019, I could see this being a game that unfortunately gets delayed into 2020, since we're not hearing all too much about it at this point, but let's hope that it does come out later this year because I am incredibly excited for it. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, there are a ton of interesting RPGs coming out in the rest of 2019, but the ones I highlighted in Borderlands 3, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, The Surge 2, GreedFall 2, Pillars of Eternity 2, and Biomutant all look to offer something with a lot of investment. So that's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.